Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today to learn about careers in engineering. We are very pleased to have three engineering professionals with us that will take a few minutes to tell you about their careers, their educational pathways to get into their current position, and then we'll spend some time giving you some ideas about what you can do during high school to really help you with your engineering pathway. So we're going to start today with Carrie Enos from the University of Maine Pulp and Paper Foundation. Thanks for joining us, Carrie.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about engineering today. So I'm currently the president of the Pulp and Paper Foundation, which means I award scholarships to over 100 engineering students at UMaine each year, some full tuition and some partial tuition. And I came from a background in chemical engineering. So I was born in Lincoln, Maine, and I went to school at UMaine and graduated with a degree in chemical engineering. And then I went out and worked in industry for 14 years. So I started as a process engineer, which is an entry-level position. And in that job, the most fun part for me was that no one day was the same as the next. So I'd walk in the morning and I might be working on optimizing a current process. So maybe it was, we wanted to reduce the environmental impact of a current process. So I get to work on that in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we might be working on a brand new product that we were developing for a customer, and I'd get to work on developing that product. So for me, the excitement of not having the same repetition every day and getting a new challenge every day was really great. So I worked my way from a process engineer to a shift supervisor to a machine superintendent, and then was eventually running a paper mill with 4 machines and about 350 people. So for me, I'm a people person, and that was a lot of fun, getting to kind of make sure everybody had the tools they needed to be successful and kind of watching people flourish in their jobs. That was a lot of fun for me. And then I got the chance to come back to the Pulp and Paper Foundation, where I had received a full tuition scholarship, and now I get to help students find their passion, find their pathway, and move forward into the working world every year. So that's the best part about my job, is getting to work with the students and help them be successful. Most of them graduate debt-free, many with very little debt. So that's a really rewarding situation for me. As far as why I ended up at UMaine, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school. So I was a junior in high school, and the person who had my job at the time came to my high school and took us on a tour of a manufacturing facility and talked about careers in engineering. And he said, hey, you want to come to this summer camp that I have for high school juniors going into their senior year. It's called Consider Engineering, and you can figure out if it's for you. So I went to UMaine, and I left after that week knowing that I wanted to study chemical engineering and that I wanted to do it at UMaine. It was a career that matched my love of math and science, but also you graduated with 100% job placement and you had no debt. My parents worked very hard their whole lives, and I knew that they could not afford to send me to school, and it was going to be on me to figure out how to make that happen. So it was a great option for me, and it has certainly proven to be a great decision. I've been able to move. It's a very versatile degree, so I've had a lot of different choices, and I really appreciate that about the chemical engineering degree.
Well, thank you, Carrie. That was wonderful. Ryan Foley works at MedRhythms, also a University of Maine graduate. Ryan, can you tell us about your position?
Sure, and thanks for having me. Yeah, so I'm a software developer or software engineer at a company called MedRhythms, which is a medical startup in Portland, Maine. And we're using music therapy via technology. So through mobile apps and web systems that allow us to deliver interventions for stroke survivors to help them increase their quality of life via increasing their walking speed and other different mechanics that a lot of medical professionals use in-person rehabilitation. We're trying to make that more accessible to folks by having that in-home via technology. So a lot of my day is spent working on new features for these systems, either working on new parts of our mobile application or what we call back-end systems that support the mobile apps that collect all the data and allow us to do the analytics we need to figure out how to correctly deliver these interventions. It started at UMaine as a mechanical engineer originally, way back in the day. I was very involved in robotics in high school, and I thought I wanted to do somewhere between electrical and mechanical engineering, and I started off as mechanical, and I actually couldn't decide for a little while, so I bounced back and forth between mechanical and electrical a few times, actually. Ended up graduating with a mechanical degree, but I had learned some software through a couple courses at UMaine, and specifically, I learned how to program industrial controllers that are typically used in industrial automation systems. And that landed me a job as a somewhat software engineer out of college. And kind of from there, I kind of went from that software engineering role to a couple others. And along the way, I've learned, you know, some of the more traditional software languages that are used more mainstream today in things like mobile apps or web systems. So it was kind of a long indirect path to get to software engineering. And I actually left electrical engineering the first time because I thought I would hate software, and now it's my full-time job and I really enjoy it. So it's been an interesting path to get here, but it's been a lot of fun. And what I enjoy a lot about software is that you can solve really interesting problems across a huge variety of technologies. So, you know, one day I'm working on how to get data out of foot sensors that connect to our mobile app over Bluetooth. And the next day I'm working on systems that help us deliver our data analytics on our backend processes. So it's a very diverse field that has a lot of really cool opportunities to it.
And Ryan, can you tell us what's the favorite part of your job?
I think just solving interesting problems. I think that's what got me into engineering, is that I like solving problems. And the thing I enjoy about software is you can pretty much work on it anywhere. You know, when I was in mechanical engineering, if I wanted to tinker in mechanical engineering after hours, I would need, you know, a machine shop or a whole bunch of equipment that I didn't have and a college that I didn't have the money for. Whereas with software, I can kind of work on it anywhere I want to. So I get to solve problems that are both interesting, but also easy for me to go learn more about on my off time if I want to.
Thank you, Ryan. You sound like you have a very interesting job. How exciting. Addie, I know you have some really fun things that you do at your job. Can you share with us tell us about your position?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. My name's Addie Nadeau. I work in business development for a company called Savage Services. They're a global material handling, logistics, and supply chain company based out of Salt Lake City. I'm fortunate right now that I work out of my home office year-round in Maine and support business development efforts in North America up through my group in Salt Lake City. So I do a lot virtually, and I travel as much as I'm willing to. I've got an awesome job and an awesome schedule. I have a similar background as Carrie. I studied civil engineering, but I also had a pulp and paper scholarship in college and went to work in the paper mills thinking I would do project management or maybe the environmental side of things. But as soon as I got on those paper machines, I got hooked. And Carrie talked about how much fun manufacturing is, and I absolutely loved it. I did that for about 7 years. And then the neat thing about my career path that I think is different than others is that when I started my family, I took 5 years off to stay home with my children. And the nice thing about it is when I was done after 5 years and ready to go back to work, within a week, I had multiple job offers and I was able to go right back to work. And that's one thing I love to impress the students considering engineering is that once you're an engineer, you're always an engineer. And there's such a hot job market out there. There's so much opportunity. It's just really fantastic. But I migrated my career naturally, just sort of migrated into the business development, customer and sales side of things. It very fits my personality. I love the fast pace of it. I love having a gazillion things going on at once. But I think in general, to do business development, engineers are very successful because you have to be extremely organized. You have to be able to multitask very well, communicate very well. And that's all things that I think a lot of engineers are skill sets that we all have. So, you know, a typical day in my life is a lot of phone calls, a lot of communications. I write a lot of proposals, which are extremely technical and detailed because of the nature of work that I'm developing. So having that engineering background with those details and those proposals is very, very helpful. Yeah, and I think the best thing about my job, honestly, I have managed this amazing flexible schedule. I have teenagers and I can manage their schedules and make it to their games and support them and still have this wonderful, fulfilling career because I'm judged on my results, which I achieve, not necessarily clicking the time clock. So it's an awesome, awesome situation for me.
Thank you, Addie. Wow, you guys all have such interesting jobs, and it sounds like there's so many different things that you can do with engineering. So I'm so glad that you joined us today to share more information about yourselves. So tell us, if what is your best advice to someone who is just starting out in college, and what should they be doing to prepare? What do you wish you had known starting out in an engineering program? And do you want to start, Carrie?
Sure, I could start. I think for me, the thing that someone finally told me, which took a lot of the burden off for me, was, hey, this is an engineering career. You are going to have so many options. So just take that pressure off yourself. When I decided to do chemical engineering, I gave myself a platform so that no matter where I wanted to go in my career or what I wanted to do, I have the background to be able to do it. As Ryan said and Addie said, once you're an engineer and you're a problem solver, you can literally do anything. So I'm very glad that I knew that, and it's really kind of proven to be true. We have engineers who graduated with pulp and paper scholarships, and now they decided 3 years down the road they want to go to dental school, or they want to be a lawyer, or they want to work for a financial advisory firm like Morgan Stanley or Edward Jones or something like that. And then we have other folks who've decided to stay in the paper industry, and they are now running machines that are making, medical equipment and gowns and masks and toilet paper and boxes for Amazon and all of the things that have become so essential in the last 3 months. So, I think it's just really important to remember that you're in charge of your own kind of destiny, but none of these decisions are permanent. If you decide to take one career path in engineering, you can always flex and do something different.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Carrie. How about you, Addie? Do you have some words of wisdom for our students?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll echo what Carrie said, in that the nice thing about an engineering degree is you can do anything with it. My lawyer is actually an engineer. He went and got his lawyer's degree. I have a great friend I graduated with from the University of Maine that went on to get her master's, and now she consults for the Pentagon. So you can do anything. But I think, I guess for me, I wouldn't get hung up on where you're starting your career. Like Carrie said, there's so many things you can do. For instance, I started and really have a paper background because I live in Maine and I had a pulp and paper scholarship and I made paper. But now that I'm in the role I am, I'm developing projects in oil and gas, in petrochemical industry, all over North America, in railroads and ships and barges. And there's so much you can do. So don't feel that if you choose one direction that you're really pigeonholed in that, because you can really do anything with your engineering degree.
Thank you, Eddie. How about you, Ryan? What information can you share with us?
Yeah, I think for me, I wish that I had taken a little more time to leverage some of the opportunities that high school and college students have available to them, like internships and job shadowing and those kind of things. Like the others said, it's never too late to switch careers if you decide you don't enjoy what you're doing. And with an engineering degree, you can do a lot of different things, but there's a lot of opportunities that are available to people of high school and college age, especially if you're in college looking for internships and job shadowing. Those opportunities aren't as easily available as you get, further into your career. So definitely take advantage of the different career fairs and opportunities and just chances to learn new things or try new things, because that'll help you figure out maybe what you don't like or do like, and what you might want to do for a full-time job after you get out into the workforce after college. So just take advantage of those opportunities so you can at least have more information to make good decisions.
Thank you, Ryan. That's great advice. Do you have some suggestions about coursework maybe in high school? I know we get a lot of questions about how much math should I take? Do I have to be, the very top student to get into an engineering program? I don't know if you guys have some thoughts on that. Anyone like to answer that question?
Sure, I'll take a shot. I think you definitely want to take as much math as you can. If you can get through a semester at least of calculus, you should do that. And to do an engineering degree at Maine, you need statistics-based calculus. But there are many great folks at UMaine, and that's what I love about it. It's a big university that has all kinds of opportunities, but it feels like a family. It feels like a very small group when you really get on campus. It's very close knit, and so there's so many people who are willing to help. There are people in admissions who will tell you, oh, you need to talk to so and so to get information about the engineering curriculum. So don't hesitate to leverage those resources and reach out to people, because you can really figure out what you need pretty easily.
Thank you, Carrie. And Carrie, while I have you on the floor here, can you tell us a little bit about financial aid? I know that you said that you award scholarships to students. How does that work?
Sure. So we offer a Pulp and Paper scholarship, which is separate from all the university scholarships. We're a separate nonprofit. And so our scholarships are either for full tuition or for $6,000 a year, which is about 75% of tuition. And so our application process is separate from the UMaine process, and applications are due December 31st. And you can find them on our website, which is mainepulpaper.org, or you can just Google UMPPF and it will show you where our website is. And you just apply online, and we'll coach you through the whole process, and you do an interview with our team of industry representatives who interview our scholarship recipients. You do not need to be a 4.0 student. You need to get good grades and be able to think and solve problems, but they're really looking for more leadership ability. So if you have good communication skills and you can be a leader, that's really what they're kind of looking for. So our scholarships can be coupled with those at UMaine. So many of our students also get top scholar awards from UMaine. So it really makes for a nice financial aid package.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You all are so very encouraging to our students. So I'm excited. I kind of wish I'd gone into engineering now, because this is wonderful. Appreciate your time today. And we are going to be wrapping up right now. And so thank you very much for joining us today. And we're hoping that you have inspired some of our students to follow a great career in engineering. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.